Okay, so you're tuned in to the deep dive. And today we're really diving into something I think a lot of people struggle with, especially if you've spent any time trying to learn about trading online.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's a complete mess out there.
It really is. Yeah.
You've got YouTube, gurus and Telegram channels that are like, get rich quick kind of thing, and Reddit. Reddit's just a whole rabbit hole in and of itself.
Yeah, you can go down. Yeah, Reddit's its own world.
It is. You can spend weeks on there and come out more confused than you went in.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot to sift through, that's for sure.
It is. So, today we're looking at Traditify, and what I really liked from the outset was that they seem to have taken a very structured approach to trading education, which is just it's so refreshing because, like we said, there's so much noise out there.
Exactly. It's like they recognize that problem
Huh?
and they're actively trying to be the antidote to that.
Mm.
They kind of learn it right versus just jumping in and possibly getting burned.
Yeah. So think of this deep dive as as us kind of walking you through the different resources that Tradify offers, what to look at, and maybe even more importantly, how to choose the right tools based on where you're at with trading, right? Whether you're brand new or you've been doing it for a while, it's really about kind of finding that personalized fit.
Okay, yeah. So let's break it down because it looks like they've really tried to create these different learning paths within the platform, which organization is half the battle, right?
It really is. And a good place to start are the courses, right? It's pretty clear that these are kind of the core of their teaching because there's a ton of them. They've got a course on pretty much anything you can think of related to trading.
Yeah, they cover a wide range.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. So like for a total beginner, right? Someone who's just kind of dipping their toes in the water, they've got, the beginner's guide to technical analysis, which it's a great place to start because it's all about, looking at charts and past price movements, and volume. So you can try to figure out where the market might be heading, using all these different tools and indicators.
Right. So it's not about, guessing or listening to gut feelings. It's about data-driven decision making.
Yeah, it really is. And then, how to build a trading plan, which is so essential because you can't just be winging it, right? You have
Yeah.
to have a strategy.
Well, yeah, it's like trying to build a house without a blueprint, right? You
Mm.
just end up with this kind of jumbled mess. You got to have a plan, you got to have a structure.
Exactly. And what's great is they don't just cover the basics, they also go into like advanced risk management strategies. I mean, this is stuff that, honestly can make or break you as a trader.
Yeah, because if you don't manage risk properly, you can wipe out your entire account in a few bad trades, right?
Exactly. And they even have courses on like crypto trading fundamentals, because obviously that's a huge area right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz about that for sure.
Yeah, so it's pretty clear they're covering all the bases. But what I really liked was that they're emphasizing that these courses are actually taught by people who are, active traders, not just, academics who are just talking theory.
Yeah, that's the industry mentors thing they talk about, right? And that's a big selling point because I mean, think about it. It's like learning to play basketball from someone who's never even touched a basketball versus learning from Michael Jordan.
Right. It's the real deal.
Yeah, it's the real deal. They've actually been in the game.
They've been in the trenches.
Yeah, they've been in the trenches. So they know what works, what doesn't work. They've made the mistakes, so you don't have to, hopefully.
Exactly. Okay, so then they also have a whole bunch of ebooks and PDFs, which I actually really like this because, sometimes you don't want to be in front of a screen, right? Or maybe you want to just really dive into a specific topic in more depth.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to curl up with a good book, or in this case, an ebook, and just absorb the information at your own pace, highlight things, make notes. It's a different kind of learning experience.
Absolutely. And they've got ebooks and PDFs on like everything. I mean, they've got like understanding market cycles, which is really crucial because markets go up, markets go down, and understanding those cycles can really help you not just kind of react emotionally, but actually kind of plan your trades accordingly.
Right. It's about recognizing those patterns,
Yeah.
those bigger trends, and then figuring out how to ride them, right?
Exactly. And then there's like psychology of trading, which, a lot of people underestimate this, but it's so important because trading is not just about the numbers, right? It's about your emotions, your psychology.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, think about it. Fear and greed drive so much of what happens in the markets.
It does. It absolutely does. And if you don't understand how those emotions are impacting your decision making, uh, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, you'll end up making impulsive trades, chasing losses, and all the classic mistakes.
Exactly. And then they have like more focused ebooks on specific strategies, like scalping the forex market. Now, that's a very specific type of trading. Forex is the foreign exchange market where you're trading currencies, and scalping it's like super short-term trading. It's like trying to, capture these tiny little price movements for small profits.
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart, that's for sure. It's a very fast-paced, high-intensity style of trading.
It is. It is. But what I like about all these ebooks and PDFs is that they really emphasize practical application, right? They're not just theory. They've got practice sheets, cheat codes, real world case studies.
Yeah, they're really trying to bridge that gap between, knowing something intellectually and then actually being able to apply it in a real trading environment.
Right. So that's really key. Now then they've also got these live mentorship sessions, which they call them personal AMAs, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that. It's like a direct line to an expert.
Yeah.
You can ask whatever's on your mind.
Exactly. But it does look like access to these depends on what kind of membership you have with Tradeify.
Right. So it might be something that comes with a higher tier membership.
Yeah. But I mean, think about the value there, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can literally get your questions answered in real time. You can discuss what's happening in the markets right now. How does that event, impact my trading decisions?
Right. It's like having a seasoned guide, leading you through the jungle.
Exactly. Exactly. And then the final piece of the puzzle are the trading tools and templates that they offer. And these seem to be available for download, which is great. And they're included with certain packages, so you don't necessarily have to pay extra for them.
Yeah, that's always a bonus.
It is. It is. And they've got like position sizing calculators, which are so important because, one of the biggest mistakes traders make is not managing their risk properly, right? They trade too big and then one bad trade wipes them out.
Yeah, you got to know how much to risk on each trade, right? It's fundamental.
It is. And then they've got trading journals, which, honestly, if you're not keeping a trading journal, you're doing yourself a disservice. That's
Which it's like trying to improve at anything without tracking your progress, right?
Yeah.
You need to know what's working, what's not working.
Absolutely. And then they even have like strategy blueprints, which can give you a framework for, developing your own trading strategies.
Right. So you're not just randomly placing trades. You have a system. You have a methodology.
Exactly. It's about being organized. It's about being, trading like a business, not just a hobby.
Exactly.
So we've looked at like the courses, the ebooks and PDFs, the mentorship sessions and the tools. It's a lot, right?
Yeah. It's a lot to take in.
It is. So the question is, where do you even start?
Right. Where do you begin?
Like how do you figure out, okay, what's right for me? And Creditify, they actually offer this really helpful, quick decision framework, which, is just based on your experience level.
Yeah, I like that. It kind of cuts through the clutter, right? It simplifies the decision-making process.
It does. It does. So they say if you're a total newbie, right, like you've never traded before, you don't really know anything about it.
You're just starting out.
You're just starting out. They recommend starting with their Trading for Beginners course, and then maybe, pairing that with an introductory ebook.
Yeah, that makes sense. Build that foundation first, right?
Yep.
Get the basics down.
Exactly. And then for those who kind of consider themselves, intermediate traders, which, maybe you've dabbled a little bit, you've made a few trades, but you're not, an expert by any means. They recommend checking out like maybe their technical analysis masterclass.
Yeah, if you're more into the charts and the technical side of things.
Exactly. Or maybe like Forex strategy fundamentals if you're more interested in, specifically trading currencies.
Right. So it's about honing in on your interests and your current skill level.
Exactly. And then for those who are, really advanced traders, they've been doing this for a while, they've got a good understanding of different strategies, they recommend either taking advantage of those live mentorship calls, to get that really personalized guidance.
Yeah, to really fine-tune your approach.
Exactly. Or maybe diving into like their algo or quantitative trading modules, which, that's getting into like the really, really advanced stuff where you're using like algorithms and computer programs to identify and execute trades.
Yeah, that's next level stuff.
Oh, it is. It is.
Yeah.
But, they offer it, so if you're ready for it, it's there.
Yeah, they've got you covered.
They do. They do. And then one other thing they really emphasize was joining the Tradify community groups.
Yeah, that's a great tip.
It is. Because, trading can be a lonely business.
Yeah, you're often sitting there by yourself in front of your computer screen.
You are. And these community groups allow you to connect with other traders, share experiences, ask questions, get feedback, learn from each other.
Yeah, it's like having a support system,
Yeah.
a group of people who understand what you're going through.
Exactly, exactly. So, okay, so we've looked at all the different resources, but what really makes Tradify different? Like, why choose them over, all the other options out there?
Right, because like we said at the beginning, it's a crowded space.
It is. So what makes them stand out? Well, first of all, they really emphasize this no fluff approach, which, I'm all about that.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. Get to the point, right?
Yeah,
Waste my time.
exactly. No 45-minute intros where they're just trying to hype you up.
Yeah, none of that guru stuff.
Yeah. It's straight to the point, actionable information.
Exactly, and that's what you want when you're trying to learn.
Exactly. Then another thing is they really highlighted the fact that all their content is mentor verified, which
Yeah.
means it's been reviewed by actual traders, right? So it's not just some random person's opinion.
Right, it has that stamp of approval, that credibility.
It does. It does. And then finally, they talk about this concept of progressive pathways, which means that they've structured the platform in a way that guides you through the learning process, right? So you can start as a complete beginner and then, gradually work your way up to more advanced concepts and strategies.
Yeah, it's like a roadmap, right? It
Yeah.
gives you a clear path to follow.
It does. It does. So, all in all, if you're serious about learning to trade, I think Tradify is definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, it seems like they've really put a lot of thought into creating a comprehensive and structured learning environment.
They have. They have. And, my advice would be, start with one course, maybe pair it with a related ebook, and just, take it step by step, right? Don't try to learn everything at once.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Yeah.
Focus on building a solid foundation and then gradually expand your knowledge and skills.
Exactly. So if you're interested, go check out their website, www.tradify.com. And, maybe your next big trading breakthrough is just one lesson away.
Absolutely. And remember, continuous learning is key in this game. The markets are constantly evolving, so you got to stay sharp.
Stay sharp and trade smart. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.
Thanks for having me.